So here we are, we're squarely in the middle of this course, finishing the third week, and we are in the Age of Enlightenment in Europe, the 1700s. I finished our last lecture by talking about Ans. And I know I have already talked about Goya, two of the most well-known painters from that era. Like I said, it's the age of revolutions. Industrial revolution happens in Britain, but there's also three bloody revolutions, And the Industrial Revolution is like the middle of the century. Then we have the American Revolution in 1776, the French Revolution in 1789, and the Haitian Revolution, 1791, 1804, okay? And so it's no wonder that this is the century when the political enters art, right? We had art is truth. Oh, I'm gonna copy this, I'm gonna copy that. Art is truth and beauty. The Greeks, the beauty, the proportions make something beautiful, which we of course know changes from culture to culture and place to place. And finally, criticality, divided by criticality. This is when criticality starts. Criticality to say, why should the king rule? Why shouldn't we all decide? Number one. Two, why should the church tell me what to do to go to heaven? Why can't I just dispense with it? I don't want that authority. All that happens in the 1700s. And, I just want to go over the fact that at this point, we have concentrated our history in Europe, and who is or what is the most important country in Europe? They're all important. We don't think like that. But when you think about it, money controls the deal. Who had the most money until now? The Spaniards did, okay? But what's happening? France is getting more important. France is starting to develop in a way. Spain had all of Latin America, and France only had this few colonies, fewer spaces. It had Haiti, but it was able, via technology and via slavery, to make a lot more money out of Haiti than a lot of the bigger colonies that Spain had. Spain wasn't really making as much money from some of its colonies like France did with Haiti. So anyway, so there's all that going on. And of course, there's also the fact that at the end of the 1700s, you have this phenomenon in France called Napoleon Bonaparte, and he wants to take over all of Europe. And he almost does until the Russian winter defeated him. And one of the first places he takes over is Spain, but that's at the tail end of the century. So the artists we are going to talk about right now are towards the middle and the tail end of the century. Meanwhile, in this century, we have two schools. We have neoclassic, which is at the earlier part of the century or midway through, going back to the classics, right? To the pagan glories of Greece and Rome. And then you also have the Romantics. And what are the Romantics? The Romantics is not really a movement, but an attitude. And it's an attitude that I think is with us even today. That's the attitude that's gotten spread over art. Oh, artists are like crazy people. They're like, they can't do math. Artists can't be ordered. So because Romanticism privileged like nature, raw, wild nature, because in this 1700s, civilization was starting to get corporate, right? When you think of not corporate, but mass production, factories, you couldn't go out and smell the flowers. Like today, oh, I'm busy. You really don't go out. You don't enjoy nature because we're all stuck to a screen. Particularly now with COVID times. This is like the next revolution, right? We can't even get outside of the computer. So let's talk about a few artists. I did mention Goya, and Goya, besides being a great painter and making some incredible commentaries on the invasion of Spain by France, look especially at the 3rd of May, 1808. Wow, look at that guy about to get shot. I mean, we're looking at political violence, and this guy is painting it. That is criticality. He's not just painting truth. He's not just painting beautiful things. He's painting a terrible moment, the murder of a civilian by military personnel. So look at that. That's 1808. So but Romanticism kind of goes into the 1800s. And you know, I want you to also dwell on this very political series that Goya did. It was called The Disasters of War and Los Caprichos. Sort of Los Caprichos, I don't know how you would say that in English, but anyway, it's this etching series, you know, from the end of the 1700s. And this is, you know, and later from The Disasters of War. These are both series that basically comment on the human condition, on the atrocities done during war. So almost like the photos that were taken in Vietnam, you know, when that invasion happened, or other photos, you know, from different, like even World War II, you know, photos of the concentration camps. So here we have it, before photography is invented, some painter, a guy from Spain called Goya, you know, is already being political with art. So I want you to look at that. That's very important. Additionally, this is a time when we also have a growing Orientalism. Okay, part of the situation in France, you know, is that they're getting involved in conquering, you know, prior to Napoleon, with Napoleon, and after Napoleon, France is also growing its empire, okay? And it's growing its empire in North Africa. It's growing its empire a little bit in the Middle East. And, you know, and so they're coming into contact with the Arab world. Before they had gotten a Chinese bug, they were all into like the Chinese court and tea and that kind of thing. So now you have, as part of this romantic attitude, you have two amazing painters, you know, that I like very much. And one is Géricault, and one is, and the other one is Delacroix. Géricault and Delacroix. And if you look at Géricault, there is a remarkable painting. It's super huge. We're already into the 1800s. It's called The Raft of the Medusa. It's about a bunch of people that started eating each other. A true story, because they were in a boat with no supplies, right? So that's coming from the Romantic era. And then you have Delacroix, you know, different paintings. And these guys are using brushstroke. They're using wild, you know, brushstrokes. They're using painting as an expression of their emotion. And so this has always been an expression of the emotion, but you look at the Renaissance, it's so serene, okay? You look at the Baroque, it is emotion, but it's still controlled. The technique is so perfect, and now it's getting looser, it's getting wilder with people like Delacroix and Géricault. It's amazing, that Medusa picture. And when you look at Delacroix, look at his sketches of, you know, North Africa. Look at this is the attraction of the exotic for the European, of the other. They're looking at other cultures and thinking, oh my God, you know, the harem. You know, they're all obsessed with the harem. They're all male painters. The feminist critique of this is like just men wanting to get excited by looking at female bodies. And what better example than Angres? Here we have Angres, and it's called the Large Odalisque. A very important piece. Again, feminists don't see this as a negative stereotype of women, the woman to be had, you know, the woman as a body. And basically, but you have not just the woman, but also the culture. Other people, multiculturals, complain it's European looking at other cultures like, okay, I'll take this, I'll take that, I'll take that. And in this case, it's the Arab culture seen from French eyes. Now, Angres was a consummate draftsman. He could draw perfect lines. He went back to Florence with the lines, and when he painted, he has some of the colors of Venice, you know, the hues. Hue is another synonym for color, and he also has the smoothness of some of the best Renaissance and Baroque techniques. Because again, remember, France became the seat, the center of the academy, all right? It became the seat, the center of the academy, thanks to Louis XIV, you know, back in the days. And so you have this Academy of Beaux-Arts, the Fine Arts Academy, l'Académie des Beaux-Arts in Paris. So these are the people that have the best training in traditional European painting, which is like saying Hollywood today. It's like having the best film school, because painting is the grand tradition with which you depict symbols, church symbols, government symbols, the monarchy, and any other symbol that you would like to portray. So I want you to remember those two artists, you know, and we have gone pretty much from the 1700s, the age of reason, and now we're into the 1800s, the 19th century. I will leave you with that, because come the next week, next class, we shall be dealing with what? With the advent of photography. Everything will change. Thank you.